Welcome to the Coach Timo Show. This is where we kind of give our weekly report and thoughts and views on the game for the upcoming week.
What is your thoughts on how camp has been leading up to week one of the season?
I thought camp this year was a little bit more fluid than it was last year. Last year was our first year taking over the program. We got the program from from I would think its worst state. That within the Palm Beach Lakes time that school exists. So we was able to come in and try to get things together. I think this year we had a lot of guys, that was coming back, so they kind of understood, what we want to get done. So it's a little bit more easier, within training camp because a lot of guys kind of knew how to line up, where to go stretch at, those kind of things. We talking about schematics, just talking about just knowing how to come in and get dressed and make their way to the field and those kind of small things.
So I know, me guys being a part of this coach staff,
Mm-hmm.
this is one of the better coach staff I've been a part of,
Right.
and one that ain't been having a lot of crazy stuff that's,
Right.
stuff that I've seen over the years. So to that point is, how did you go about putting the staff together till you feel like, okay, this is guys that I can have around with me to help me lead this thing to where I want to go?
Right. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Palm Beach Lakes YouTube channel for more Palm Beach Lakes content. So for me, it's all history, and I know at times, when guys, want to be a part of the program and stuff like that, and we try guys out, from day to day or whatever it may be, or through conversation, and they don't have to say it, but a lot of times they look around the staff and they say, hey man, it's a connection to everybody here, and I won't have that kind of connection because I don't have that kind of connection. So when we sit as coach staff and we talk, it's a history of stuff that we talk about based on the stops that we was at. And so for me, it's like, it ain't, that's on purpose I go out and just get, all guys that I've been around. But it kind of did happen naturally like that. And everybody on staff is connected to me. And, when it comes to Coach Stuckey, he was around me ever since I've been 6 years old. Coach Dent's been around me my entire life. That's blood cousin. Coach C was around me at Palm Beach Central when we was at Palm Beach Central. And, we just had a hell of a run at Palm Beach Central. And Coach C was around, knew everything we do offensively, kind of just did everything when it came to off the field stuff at Palm Beach Central. And then as we connected there, and we had a hell of a run, and it kind of just fell short in the regional finals, whatever year, 19 year. But what we built there in 2 to 3 years is, I don't think nothing rivals that, even what they don't have since then. If you just look at their roster of Palm Beach Central when we was there. When it came to Coach Walker been around me the same time Coach Stuckey been around me since we've been like 6, 7 years old, play AAU basketball together and everything. Coach Sherman been around me. He's from the Muck. Not actually born in Belle Glade, born in Boston, but spent so much time in Belle Glade. Sometimes we say Sharon from Belle Glade, but he been around me the entire time. And my other previous stops, Sharon was around me as well. When I was at John R. Leonard with Adam Johnson, Tavares Martin, and all those kind of guys, Sharon was with me as well back in those days. Coach Partridge was already here. He's a Lace guy, a Lace alum. He was already here. And me and Coach Park was around each other my first stint when I was here with Coach Shipman. So everybody had my staff. Coach Hillen was with me at St. Andrews. When I was at St. Andrews with Bill Young and Jason Cation and Teddy Hoffman and all those guys, Coach Hillen was with me then at St. Andrews. So everybody that I have around me kind of been around me, know how I work. I don't think nobody, it's no, I'm going to say this, no slight to those other coaches and what they got in their styles and stuff like that. But nobody outworkers, anybody want outworkers. I mean, we work. And they know how I am and how I work. Everything is like, we're going to get it done that day. And I know where the program is going because of how we work. We don't take time off when it comes to that. And like I said earlier, once we leave football, hell, we take the wrestling season just as important. When we leave wrestling, we take the powerlifting season just as important. So everything that we continue to do in the program, we continue to go.
What was one of the differences, or what is the main difference from coming in year one, training camp week one, to year two, training camp week one? Now that you had a year under your belt, we're going through a whole year last year. What is the difference between year one at this time and year two at this time?
I would think if you're talking about schematics, it's a lot easier because, like I said, again, some guys that we had come back into the system, so it was able to, I was able to quickly get install in to certain things and install new things here and there. We did add a lot of guys. We added a lot of guys, so kind of it could be like that new day one for those guys. When it came to everything else off the field, it's almost like year one because the whole new activate stuff and all that. So it got kind of crazy with that. But other than that, I think it's better. The more time you spend in the program, I think it's better because the more stability you have, you're familiar with the kids and stuff like that. So it's a little more easier transition when you're talking about from year one to year two, in my opinion.
Now, last year at this time, we were going into playing a new school, Garcia, and we got the results we wanted for Garcia. This year, we're playing against Coral Springs. Now, they just went through a transition period with their coaching staff and everything like that. So, how tough is it to kind of game plan and get ready for going against a team like that that has a lot of transition, a lot of stuff we don't know, and everything like that, going against that kind of team going into the first week of the season, though? You going in there almost blind.
Yeah. What's crazy was the Garcia situation. To go back to last year, is that we had an entirely different team. We had a team from Miami on the schedule of Kickoff Classic. We have a belief here at Palm Beach Lakes that the two games that we play preseason and Kickoff Classic. I mean, it's preseason. I'm talking about the spring game, and the Kickoff Classic. We try to play up in competition. This spring we wanted Pompano Ely in the spring, and then we wanted John Carroll in the Kickoff Classic. Last year we wanted a tough spring, but I couldn't do it because of our first year. And the previous coach already had a game, so we had to play John Lynn in the spring. And the Kickoff Classic game, we had actually one of the Miami schools down there, and the district changed that around and put Garcia on our schedule. But the difference between the two, I would say, between this year is that I don't know anything about Coral Springs, so to speak. I know they had a transition; they got a new coach, but it's a team that. I think they won 5 or 6 games last year. I think it was very, very close to being a playoff team. So it has to be some type of talent there,
right?
Some type of ability. So whoever come into that program, I'm sure they come into a program that's kind of right at the verge of being a playoff team. So with us, I don't know anything about it. I don't know scheme-wise. I don't know what they're going to do up front. I don't know none of that stuff. So I just prepare guys for everything. It got to be even or odd, it got to be, cover 1, 2, 3, or 4. You know what I mean? So it got to be either one of those things. So we just got to prepare for everything. Defensively, it could be a little difficult because, I don't know what they're going to run offensively. We just got to kind of figure that out as we go out there. But we want to, approach the game like we approach any other game, try to prepare for everything. And so that part is a little difficult because I know nothing about Coral Springs, but definitely looking forward to going down and getting challenged this Friday.
Now, as far as a mental aspect, Kickoff Classic didn't necessarily go the way we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you go about changing things, transitioning to a week one from a mental aspect? Because now it's, Kickoff Classic, we can experiment and do things like that.
Right.
But now it's week one, it's game time, it's
game
official.
Time,
like,
right.
So how do you get your team ready or get our team ready from a mental aspect to transition to week one?
I think everything we do is like one snap and clear. Our kids get no time off, so it's like from football season they go straight into wrestling. From wrestling they go straight into powerlifting. Powerlifting they go straight into spring football. So they used to being able to transition. When it comes to playing a game like a Kickoff Classic game, you lose to a pretty good team. Kickoff Classic. One thing about us in our program, we're very honest with our kids, and we knew going into the game that, when it comes to like man for man, we outman what we was going against. But the kids understand that we always going to play up. When we go into any game, we always going to play up in those kind of games. We come to spring and come to Kickoff Classic. We want to play up. So we want trying to shoot them, a fantasy and anything like that. And I always tell my kids, like and we talk as coaches that, Lake's been down for a long time. And if you talk about a decade, and my numbers may be off here and there, but it might have averaged about 4 wins a year. If you just take 10 years.
Aside from 2019.
Right, aside from 2019, right? So it's like, you're talking about accumulation of a time that Lake's been down. It's gonna take some time to get it back where we want to get it to. But we're on the right track. We're building the program. Kids understand that they're a part of the program, a part of the rebuilding process. You may not be at the top when it get to that point, you know what I mean? But you was a part of that process when we started this thing. And you'll understand where we came from and where we're going. I think for most of our kids, like I said again, we came off a kickoff classic loss, and we still got 60, 70 guys at practice. So it doesn't, and attention to detail is there and stuff like that. There, because they understand what our goals are and what's in front of us.
Obviously, we want to win the game coming on Friday. But aside from just winning the game and scoring more points than the other team, what is something else that you look for from your team that you can kind of measure success on? Like, what I'm saying, how the team did, not just obviously we won the game, but like, how do you measure your team also another way without just saying, hey, let's win the game? As far as success, that you're trending in the right direction.
Right. I think about preparation, how we prepare ourselves. So I see how we take the field on Monday, how we take the field on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, how we get on the bus, how we do pregame meal, those kind of things like that. Those small wins like that, eventually going to be big wins. So you understand the program was discombobulated for so long. So when you got a situation where you can just get small wins of kids knowing how to just, prepare for a team and know the work ethic and what it takes to be successful on a Friday night. Everything that they do everything. Everything is strategic. Everything is on point. Everything is just having, it has a reason why they do it. And we do it every single day because we know if we do that every single day, when we do get to the top part of that, we talk about some of the elite teams in the county, you'll know that the program is built the right way. We don't do it, and I keep reiterating this. You can look at our roster, stuff like that. We ain't doing it with a bunch of guys transferring into the program and stuff like that. We're doing it with late kids, and we're developing because that's going to be a little bit more stable than kids that's coming in and out of the program. It's no stability in that because 1 year you could be up, 1 year you could be back down, or you may have a 2-year run with kids coming to the program, and then eventually year 3 you got to take that situation, take your situation back down again. So with us, we just want to bring stability that every single year, even on our down years, we win the 7 to 8 games on our down years. You know what I mean? When we come to the point of elite, we win in state championships, and that's the goal.
So going into week 1, going into the season in general, who are some key guys that people because according to the county, we don't really got nobody over here. So Who are some key guys that you are saying, hey, if you're gonna look at Palm Beach Lakes, check out for a couple of these guys for obviously for week 1 and going through the entire season.
Right. So you got to be a football head. You got to be a football head for the first few guys I'm gonna mention. But I would say Xavier Bolden at center, number 55. Watch him play. I think he's one of the ones that how he go, we go. Number 70, Jeremiah Chandler, that plays left tackle for us. Watch him play. I want to say Turmarian Jacobs, that plays left guard for us, number 56. I want to say Zammy Allen plays right tackle for us, number 58. Probably 6'4" kid, 245, 50 pounds. Right guard, Demetrius Mann, 6'3", 6'4", 305, 310. Like, watch those guys play up front. Zachariah Valquez, tight end, number 11, true freshman, 2028. Watch him play, 6'3", 245 pounds at tight end. Watch him play. Mike Kelly, another freshman, that plays the H for us in the slot. Watch him play, 2028. Obviously, Turmarian Moreland Jr., sophomore, number 1, plays the Z for us. So we got some guys across the board, and you look at our backfield, we got 2 of the better in the county, Anthony Palmer and Christopher Holm, both seniors. But as I just said, that list, I didn't even tell you the offensive line-wise, half of those guys come back, but we play a true freshman at the slot in Michael Cadley. We play a true freshman at tight end. And Zachariah Valquez, we play a true freshman at a sophomore at the Z. And Turmarian Moreland Jr., we play a junior, Demetrius Mann at the right guard. We play a junior at left guard and Turmarian Jacobs. So we play a lot of young guys, man. And but those guys are very, very talented. And if I go on the other side of the ball defensively, you talking about a plethora of talent, a lot of young talent. Zerard Capers at safety, free safety for us. Just a junior. Again, Turmarian Moreland Jr. At corner. Just a sophomore, probably got 4 or 5 offers, already. You talking about on the other side, we have Tazada Smith, just a sophomore, that's playing out there at corner. So we got a bunch of young guys there as well. We're playing a young guy at our shade, our nose, and that is Stephon Cooley, sophomore, 2027. So we got a bunch of young guys. The guys that's in rotational pieces that's freshmen and sophomores. So you see how young of a team that we have, and we kind of do that on purpose. We building guys up, we building guys through the program. We also have a bunch of seniors as well, guys like Denero Wilson, number 0 at inside linebacker, Tyree Allen, who had a huge game at John Carroll. He's a senior as well. And then we got good end play out of Jatavius Benjamin and Elias Morero, and also come off the bench with Shane Clacken at one of the ends as well. So we got a good group of kids. Again, we didn't have a spring game. That was our guys' first time going out there, and we had a bunch of young guys in the kickoff classic, and the game got how it got. But one thing about it was no quitting those guys, and the guys understand who we playing against.
So I know we throughout the schedule, we got a couple key games in the schedule, and it's hard for anybody not to look forward. But how do you go about keeping guys focused on this week and this week only, because this is the most important game, because this is the game? How do you go about keeping on guys not to look forward the other weeks, the other games, like focus on this week?
Right. I think for us, we so big on the day, man. You know what I mean? And I know you hear other schools say, just go 1-0 today and all that kind of stuff like that. But we really, really, really focus on like the moment. And my biggest thing I tell the kids, we can't afford to look past nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a historian when it comes to I graduated from the school when it comes to Palm Beach Lakes. You know what I'm saying? And I know the time that it went through. I know the path, the journey it been on. And where we trying to go at right now and where we coming from, we can't afford to look at nobody down the line. We can't look at nobody down there. A lot of times I come here as a coach and I ask guys, hey man, who we play week 5? Because somebody asking about week 5 because we got to get this done or whatever it may be. But I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm really, really, really focused on Core Springs and who Core Springs is and what they do and focus. Actually, when it comes to practice, we focus on what we got to get done in practice. We don't even focus on Forest Springs until we kind of get to that point. But right now, it's a complete Palm Beach Lakes focus. You know what I mean? How are we going to take the field? How are we going to practice? You know what I mean? Like, how many steps you have on this route? How you going to work this down block? Who you working this down block to? What's your rule on this play? You know what I mean? So we kind of focus on that, and then we kind of get a little bit of, what we're going to go against for us game planning. But it's really, 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 really focus on the moment. Like, we really got to focus on the moment because of where we coming from as a program.
Still focused on week 1, Core Springs. How week 1 went for us last year, we got the same thing. 1 week 1, 1 week 2, and we kind of tapered off that. So how do you use whatever happens on Friday, because we don't know what's going to happen on Friday, but how do you use whatever we have on Friday? Hopefully it's good and successful. How do you use that to propel for the rest of the season? How do you use that kind of win or law or whatever happens, because we don't know by the time this is put out, but how do you use that to go forward?
I think last year, when you're talking about the 24 class won 3 games in 3 years. So they freshman, sophomore, and junior year combined, they won 3 football games. They jumped out and won 2. Was 2-0. They jumped out and won 2 to start the season. And obviously it's self-explanatory. That team know how to win, right? They don't know how to win. Never won before. So it's easy for them to kind of like, relax a little bit. And as coaches, we knew what we had on that schedule. So once we got through those 2 games, we was like, okay, now here we go, right? We got Pahokee, we got Seminole Ridge, like it's finna come now, right? So as coaches, we done been around the county for so long coaching that we're prepared for those moments, saying within our mind, we know what's finna come down the line now. We gotta take our game to a whole nother level. But you're trying to get 17, 16, 15, 14-year-old kids to think the same way, and they don't, right? They got to go through some type of experience to understand that. So a lot of time with our kids, they know how to lose because they've been doing it for so long, right? They know how to bounce back from a loss, those kind of things, right? Because they've been doing it for so long. But when it came to winning, that's an entirely different environment for them. So we had to teach them also how to win. So this group went through that last year, understanding E25 guys and some of the E26 guys, they went through that last year. And going through the season, started out 2-0, beat Garcia and Port St. Lucie. And we ended up playing I think either Pahokee or a very good Seminole Ridge team, either one of those two. I think it was back to back actually, and we ended up playing them, we didn't meet the same intensity as those other two programs was, right? And so we went through that, that time period. Those guys eventually bounced back. We ended up being Centennial and Wellington and dog fight with Royal Palm and another dog fight with the Wire. So we kind of picked it up a little bit, but that had to be taught because they have lost so long, been losing for so long that it had to be taught us how to win. I think this group here understands how we work. I think the group here understands how to win actually, and I think this group will be a little bit more ahead when it comes to that kind of stuff after a win. But it's still gonna be some growth in those kids because we also got a bunch of young kids. Like I said, I just mentioned to you, we have a bunch of freshmen, on the field. So it's still gonna be a learning process with them as well. So everything we do, man, it's a reason why we do it. We understand where it's going, and I always commend us as a staff, and I always commend these kids, as players, to say that we're doing it the right way. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about my staff, we kind of got, I won't call it perception. We get a bad rap when we first took the program over because people first thing they thought was, all right, they finna go out there and recruit. They finna go out there and get all these kids to transfer to Palm Beach Lakes. A lot of kids finna go over there now, and they're gonna do it that way, right? But I challenge anybody to come look in this locker room, come look at our roster, and you will see every single kid that we are coaching that these are kids, are Palm Beach Lakes kids, and we're doing it that way. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that other programs was wrong because, we was at Central. A lot of kids did transfer into Palm Beach Central when we was there. But majority of those kids we coached at Palm Beach Central actually was at Palm Beach Central, but just a few sprinkle kids here and there were transferring into the program. And we kind of got that bad rap as a coaching staff. And then a little bit with me because I also came from Oxbridge before I was at Palm Beach Central. So you kind of, if you in your mind, you just thinking, okay, he was at Oxbridge when they had Raven Saunders and Travis Homer and CJ and Tyler Williams. Then he goes to Palm Beach Central. Then the King Dent miraculously transfer over there, and Ronaldo Brown is over there, and Janelle Brown is over there, and Jake Ray is over. So I get all that. Brian Robinson, so I get all that. But you look at here and what we're doing, and it feels good because when it gets to that point, and we're doing it the right way here, and we're building that thing from ground up here, I think we get to that point. It's something the community can be proud of because they understand these kids from right here. Where they stay is where they playing. Coaching staff is kind of right around the community. I think that all the coaches pretty much live somewhere around here. So we kind of just doing it right here, man. We're doing it the right way. We're building this thing up, man.
All right, y'all, man. That's week one of the T-Mo show. All right,
so make sure you tune in every week, man, to the T-Mo show. Just like today, I'm gonna give you nuggets of what we got going on, and then also, man, make sure you come and support. We play at Coral Springs High School Friday at 7 p.m. It's a little different than it is in Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County games are at 6:30, but down in Broward, they still do it the same day. They still do it the same. Game starts at 7 o'clock. So make sure you come support us. It'll be a good atmosphere. I think our band will be there. We had a good crowd come up to John Carroll last week. Make sure you guys come out again. Come support us down there in Coral Springs. We had a great, and I want to say this too as well. We had a good fans that traveled. Thank you guys for coming up there and supporting the young men. That did go notice on the sideline that we had a lot of people that came and traveled to support the boys. So make sure y'all go support the boys at Coral Springs. It's an easier drive. It's right up the street. So come support us, man, at Coral Springs, 7 p.m. And don't hold me to it, but I think the band gonna be there. So Velez, if you seeing this, man, I'm kind of putting a little pressure on you, but I think they'll be there. It should be a good atmosphere, a good game for us to start week one. I appreciate y'all.